You're listening to WP Living with a WordPress community vlog. In this series of videos, I'm highlighting members of the WordPress community who are making an impact in one way or another. Last week, I looked at a design company based in Germany called Elmer Studio, and this week I want to look at the phenomenon, the design phenomenon that is Milo. Now Milo, as it happens, is also based in Germany. She is one of the longest running WordPress theme designers and was around on the WordPress theme scene pretty much from the get-go. I want to do two things in talking about Milo. I want to talk about radical design, and then I want to talk about her free WordPress themes and introduce some of those to you. I'm on the front page of Milo's portfolio, and her website is 317.com, and as you can see, what's going on the front page here is a series of slides showcasing recent projects that she's worked on, some high-profile work. And Milo has gone from being kind of at the radical fringes of WordPress design to somebody who's a fully fledged designer, professional designer, working on high-profile projects and not just WordPress anymore. But one strand, it seems to me, that has carried through and continues to carry through her work is radical design. It's the unexpected. It's throwing you off balance. It's basically disarming you, and it's shaking up any prejudices or comforts you might have with visual design online. And on this front page, I think that's just very clear. What's going on here? For me, it's like a scissor effect. I get from the shapes and the motions and movements in this design a sense of cutting, of scissors, of sharpness, of razor edges. Look at the navigation bar. Look at the triangular lines. Look at the way the slider moves. And right down to the bottom, you get that sense of triangularity, sharpness, and it's speaking, the message it's giving me is that this is sharp design work. But its sharpness comes at a cost. The radical nature of design, sometimes if you push it too far, can be a big turn-off for a lot of people. And in the past, I'm not saying now I really love this portfolio, by the way. In the past though, with Milo's work, and particularly when it comes to WordPress themes, I found it very difficult to get into her themes. I found them visually very interesting, but I found them, in terms of their applicability, very difficult. And what comes to mind to sum this up, this phenomenon for me that is Milo, in a nutshell, it's like jazz, free jazz, fusion jazz. If you've ever listened to jazz music and you just got into it for the first time, and particularly fusion jazz, it sounds like a cacophony. It sounds like a discordant mass of instruments with no real melody, and it's discordant and it's very difficult and unpalatable. And it takes time for your ears to discern the instruments that are being used. But if you stick with it, if you buy into it, if you let it be and let yourself be with it, over time you can start to appreciate it. And I think that's one of the things about radical design, is for a lot of people it will be a turn-off. But for those few who get into it, who allow themselves to be open, ready to receive the design, those people will become absolutely loyal to you, to your work, and they will follow you through thick and thin. And the same goes for people who are jazz aficionados, the same goes for any type of artistic practice. And that's really what it's about, radical design, for me. For other people it will say different things. So that's a note about what I think Milo has done. I admire the fact that she's gone on this journey, she's stuck to her guns, and she's continued to push the boundaries, the visual boundaries of what a WordPress theme might be, of what web design might be. I like that a lot, and I think that's absolutely commendable. I want to finish this vlog with just a brief introduction to some of her WordPress themes. I think they're well worth a look, and I'm just going to go here to the themes section. And you can see that she also does BuddyPress themes. If you don't know what BuddyPress is, check out buddypress.org. It's a multi-user kind of network type version of WordPress. Now, for the sake of time and to keep this short, I'm just going to highlight one particular theme. But do check out her collection. These are free to download and well worth having a look at. The theme I want to look at is called Clean. It is a 4-column fluid layout theme with a special home page template. And it also has recent comments built in and related posts, and we'll see that in action. Let's just click on the demo and take a look at the Clean theme by Milo. Okay, so here we are on the front page, and this is called Clean, and the idea is that it's very simple, and in fact it is one of the most simple themes that I've seen from Milo. If you look at some of the other stuff, it's far more radical, a lot more going on. But even here, on a clean, simple theme, things are very different than you get with other theme developers. There's just a sense of a different approach to design, a different way of thinking, and you've got to, I think it boils down to this. I talked about jazz earlier, but what we're really talking about is language, the language of design. And I think, like any language, you have to tune into the other person that's speaking. You have to be prepared to listen. You have to be open to that person. And I think the design language that Milo employs is a very kind of unusual, a bit avant-garde, unexpected, and I don't think people are kind of ready for her work in a way. Many are, but I don't think quite a few people aren't. And what I mean is, look at this, for example. Check out this little detail. The way the date, the topics, and the comment count is organized here. A lot of thought and detail has gone into this tiny little section of the theme. The way it's spaced out and placed together. It's its own piece of work. It's fantastic in a way. For some people, it will just be a mess. But for others, for me, for example, I love it. I love that attention to detail. Other things to look for. You can see, let's have a look at a single page, a single post. Check out the About and Related Posts sections at the end of the blog post. Look at the way they sit in relation to each other, different levels. And then you get the previous posts underneath, and then you get the comments section. Now it's all working beautifully in terms of code, but visually it's absolutely different to the symmetry we're used to with WordPress theme designs, and it's absolutely other to that. And it's the otherness of this work that I love. It really is something to get used to, but once you're there, once you're on the same frequency, it's great. And so with this theme, I mean, if you were going to download this and use this theme, the one thing you can be sure of is that your website is not going to be boring. And that's something, again, that I have to hand to Milo, is that her themes, no matter how difficult they are to get into, they're never boring, and they always provoke some response. And I think that's the artistic side of design, and I think we could all learn, whether we're developers, designers or not, we could all learn from this radicality, the radical nature of Milo's design. We could take a leaf from her book and rethink and shake up some of the prejudices, some of the kind of habits and automatisms, gestures we get into. Shake things up, rethink the approach to design. It can be done differently. Milo has proved time and again that it can be done differently, and I love that. This has been a WordPress community vlog highlighting the work of Milo, and check out her website. It is 317.com. Be sure to connect with her on Twitter or Facebook. Connect with me, also wpliving.net. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Bye-bye.